Hi, this is Sally Morgan, physical therapist, craniosacral therapist, and Tellington T-Touch practitioner for animals and people. This is Tristan, he's a Corgi, and this is an episode of Conversations with a Corgi, where the Corgi has been remarkably silent. Anyway, I want to talk today a little bit about pets and weddings because I'm still recovering from the tremendous amount of travel and sleeplessness that accompanied my niece's wedding, which was a wonderful experience down in Raleigh, North Carolina over the weekend. And there's plenty of pictures on my Facebook, my sister's Facebook, my mom's Facebook, my niece's Facebook. So you can get pictures of the wedding there. And people have been wondering, as I was all along, why did Gwen decide not to include pets in the wedding? She's an animal lover. She has several pets. She's got really well-behaved, trained dogs that are friendly and socialized. Why weren't they in the wedding? So this is something I think is something a few people wonder about and need to think about. What Gwen decided to do was include a horse and carriage in her wedding so that she still had that four-legged furry animal there to represent the animal kingdom. And coincidentally, or not, that horse was 17 years old and named Charlie, the same as one of my sister's little Ruby Cavaliers, who is 17, named Charlie, who is, incidentally, one of Hugh's very favorites. And Hugh, my sister's husband, was officiating the wedding. So there are all these coincidences that occur in life that if you take the time to look at, it all adds up to a perfect thing, such as Gwen also not being able to get her venue on a Saturday, so she picked a Sunday because she thought her husband was going to be deployed, which he was not, luckily. But Sunday was a gorgeous day. All the days leading up to it, pretty bad days for weddings. So, things come in miracles. Anyway, this is why Gwen did not include the animals in the wedding, and having been there, I can say that she made a very smart decision. First of all, the venue and the wedding was pretty far away from her house, like a good 45 minutes to an hour drive. And she was very smart to realize that her pets can't stay out of the house that long and be unsupervised because her husband-to-be was booked up for the day, she was booked up for the day, all of the rest of us were booked up for the day. And do you really trust anybody who's not related to you directly or your best friend to take care of your pet and drive them back to your house if they've been at the wedding? Not so much. She had a pet sitter come to the house to take care of all of her dogs and cat and guinea pig and my sister's pets who were also staying there. And that was hard enough getting them cared for and fed for a day because the wedding events really started at like 7 in the morning and we weren't done till 11:30 at night. That's a full long day. We don't leave our pets that long. So even having them not come to the wedding was complicated. Yeah, glad the wedding went well. We all are. So, but on the other hand, my good friend Heather got married here in Northampton. And they have a house in this town. And they have beloved dachshunds, Peanut and Aiden, who you've heard about, who are brothers who have a kind of a love-hate relationship, although they're 13 and it's getting better. Anyway, it was a sad thing to not include their dachshunds in their wedding because they really are their children and we all love them and they love all the people that were coming to the wedding. And they hadn't really planned for the dachshunds to be in the wedding. They wanted it to be a more elegant occasion. But within the last 3 days leading up to the wedding, because their house was literally 4 blocks from the wedding venue, and we were going to be running in and out all day to change clothes and things like that. Lots of guests were staying there, running over there. So it was pretty easy to take care of the dachshunds. And at the last minute, we decided that somebody should walk down the aisle with the 2 dachshunds with their little bow ties on and bring them up to the stage to see their parents get married. And, that is a wonderful thing when you can include your pets in the wedding. And I think there's even a few wedding pictures with the dachshunds, which is really special. And so that worked out because we were close by. We were able to take care of the dogs. The dogs are not actually great with other dogs, those dachshunds, but they were fine for the wedding day. And like I said, we were able to whip them home practically even before the receiving line came about. So, they were able to participate. I don't think they had them carry the rings. Maybe the person with the dachshunds carried the rings, or they had a flower girl. I can't really remember. But Anyway, the dachshunds were part of the wedding and did make their way down this long aisle at an outdoor wedding across a big hilly meadow that they use for concerts and up to a stage where their people got married. And I've seen wonderful pictures, and so have all of us, that make your heart heavy and with happiness when you see a golden retriever come down the aisle with the ring strapped to his back, and he sits patiently by his parents while they're getting married. And that's a wonderful thing. Again, if you have a wedding outdoors or at your home, that makes it super easy to include your pets. I had a wedding with my rabbit, which I did not plan, but again, the bridesmaid that was a good friend who lived with me and my rabbits at the time, she was a roommate, brought the rabbit to the wedding and actually managed to have a little box for her to sit in and then run her back home, because again, that was 2 blocks from my house. So even rabbits and guinea pigs and other small animals can come to a wedding. I know plenty of people who have brought cats to weddings, especially cats that are able to walk on a leash. And there are beautiful pictures recently that I'm seeing online of a corgi with his married people standing by a pond, looking lovingly into each other's eyes, and this impeccably groomed little corgi with a beautiful collar is sitting there by the pond, and you can see the reflection in the pond, and it's quite stunning. And again, outside wedding, maybe at their home or their backyard or a place nearby. So the corgi was included in the wedding. And sure enough, in my corgi world, a couple met through corgi things online, found out they lived near each other, eventually got married, and of course the corgis had to be part of that wedding. They wouldn't have dreamed of having it another way. And some people actually do go out of their way to make the wedding in a place where the pets can be included. At the bunny wedding, I really wanted my horse to pull the carriage from the wedding to the reception through a busy downtown area. But my horse was not really a good carriage horse in circumstances of tremendous traffic and stress and midtown daytime hills. So his best friend horse ended up pulling the carriage, and the hill was so steep, and there's a stoplight, and it's got a long wait, and there's cars coming from every direction. It really is one of the 2 worst corners in my whole town. And poor Skybird slipped down the hill and almost slid into a car because he couldn't get his feet under him. And thanks to the skill of the carriage driver and the horse's wonderful temperament, it was all okay. But you really have to think when you are planning to include animals in a wedding. And I'm sure I don't have too many listeners who are planning a wedding, but still, it's something to think about. So if you know somebody who's getting married and they'd like to include a pet, one of the greatest things you can do as a friend of the family or a family member is figure out a way to include the pet that will make it easy on the bride or the groom or the bride, groom, whatever you have, because it really can be a great experience. And certainly they were not planning to include those dachshunds, and I managed to get the little bow ties for the dachshunds. This was before you could just buy things online easily and get them to and from the wedding with no problem. So think about that when you're planning a wedding. And if you can't include your pets, you can include things like pictures of the pets. Gwen had pictures of her pets painted on her shoes, which were slip-on sneaker type things by somebody on Etsy so that they would be part of the wedding. That was really thoughtful. Some people wear jewelry with pictures of their pets, or at the reception have some professional photographs of the pets in elegant attire to be part of the wedding. So there are many ways that you can include your pets in the wedding. And also, don't forget, even if your pet's not in the wedding, you have plenty of time with that photographer over the course of a day. So you might be able to include the pet in like the engagement photos, or maybe just swing by in the morning for a special photo session with the pets and the spouses to be, or something like that. If you can't have the pet at the ceremony because your friends really want to be there, but you've got a friend who can swing by, pick up the pets, and bring them back for some of the pictures, that's another possibility. So keep in mind there are many ways to include your animals in the wedding, from painting them on your sneakers, hanging photos, getting a carriage with a horse to represent your pets. And even if we had somebody, for instance, they have a cat, they could, or a couple cats really, they could have had the cat in a cat carrier briefly and taken a ride around the property with the horse and carriage because we weren't in traffic, and had the cat on their lap for some great photos and then run the cat back home. So there's plenty of options. So think about that. The wedding was wonderful. It was a beautiful day. I think it went just about perfectly. One of the things she did that was so fun was she found a venue, and I think there's a few like this in the world, where it was sort of a la carte. You could just buy the menu and know people. And you can hire a wedding planner to coordinate the caterer and what you need to do. But she ended up just relying on her friends and family, which actually was brilliant because it made the whole day a different kind of event when we were bonding, moving the chairs outside, moving the chairs back inside, setting all the tables, arranging where the tables were going to be, setting up the centerpieces for the tables. Somebody met with the florist and told them where the flower arrangements were going to be. And then the caterer arrived and some other people met with them to coordinate that. And it just really made it like a big family party to have all of these people helping throughout the day. And it was really a wonderful thing to do it that way, and way a tenth of the price that it would have been otherwise. And people were happy to help, all kinds of people. Now, of course, Gwen knows plenty of people that work out a lot and are bodybuilders and CrossFit people and trainers and things like that. So we had plenty of strong people around to help us. And certainly we had a guy who had been in one of his summer job lives, a caterer. And so he was an expert on setting up the table and coordinating people. So that was fun. And another thing people I know have done has included a pet and family picture on the table at the reception. So that's another way you can include your pets, with a beautiful pre-done photograph of the spouses and their pets, so that you have the whole family right there. So enjoy having a wedding with your pets in some way. Be creative about how you do that. And we will be back tomorrow for another episode of Conversations with a Corgi. I have horses to see today and the next day. It's a big horsey return trip for me. And Tristan is wearing his little purple bows on his collar that came from Gwen's wedding. These were on the, of course, husband and wife M&Ms. Because everyone now wants M&Ms with your name on them, and it's a great little thing to have at your wedding. You could put pictures of your pets on your M&Ms. And you can wear these purple bows 100 ways, right, Tristan? On top of your head. You could wear one as a little mini bow tie. And certainly I can wear them in my hair. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow. We have a few things to talk about related to our series on hospice care and pet death and dying, and a couple of other incidentals that have come up along the way. So we will see you tomorrow around 8:30. And don't forget, the time change is coming up. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.